Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo. Prepare to engage. Operation Status Quo. Ready to engage. Operation Status Quo. Engaged. Engaged. In bleep engaged. Hey, what's going on out there? Oh, my beautiful, beautiful people of planet Earth. Is that where we are? Is this planet Earth? Or, you know, again, if you want to go down the, this show isn't about that, but I guess I'll have to do a whole show on the flat Earth thing one day too, right? We can just get into that and see where that takes us one day. Because again, remember, this is Operation Status Quo. Hi, I'm Pete Palma of Operation Status Quo. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here today and enjoy another live, wonderful broadcast for all the you the people out there. And of course, as I say, Operation Status Quo is the place where we observe the status quo, we acknowledge the status quo, and then we flow with the quo instead of letting the quo get the best of us, right? We don't have to, from a concept of just thinking, you don't have to, just because something is, quote unquote, a status quo doesn't mean you have to be part of that status quo, but you do have to understand the flow of the quo and be able to flow either with the quo or around the quo, or perhaps have your own flow quo, your own quo of flow, your own flow of quo. Yeah, there we go. Your own flow of quo. Get your quo on. Get your quo on. So, God bless all you people out there. Seriously, crazy, beautiful, wonderful times our world, isn't it though? Just an amazing time that we're in, everything that's happening, and I know everybody gets fairly nervous with all the stuff that's going on, but I always say over here, basically this is a place of love and joy and togetherness, and the reason I'm here live for you people is because I care about you people. I love you people individually as well as a group, and all I want to do is create a nice space where we can all just gather and be, and I'm here to just kind of be your buddy. I'm your buddy. I'm your little YouTube buddy, just hanging out saying, hey, how you doing? I'm your little buddy. Hold on, let's do a little, hey, I'm gonna be your YouTube friend, saying I'm gonna be your YouTube friend every single day. Yeah, give me that applause. Let's do it. Is there any sense to what goes on here? I'm creating my own quo. Gotta create the status quo so we can flow with the quo, yo. Oh, anyway, I'm very sorry. I don't know how this happens, but you see, this is, I always say this is really more of a live stream of consciousness. It's not just a live stream, it's a live stream of consciousness as we send beautiful, loving messages. And the truth is, it's almost like a meditation. I'm just thinking of this now as I'm saying it. You can watch this program. You can just listen to it if you don't want to look at my ugly mug or whatever. But the truth is, like, no matter what I'm saying, it's almost like a meditation. The words are just emanating, and the energy that's coming from the words are words of love and joy and good intentions. And, and that energy is just zipping into your brain and buzzing around, bouncing off the walls in your brain, spinning your eyes in your head, zipping down your body, exploding your heart out the side, popping out your kidneys, and maybe even helping you have a good bowel movement, which would be probably the most beneficiary of any of the things I said. I mean, we probably do not necessarily want our kidneys to explode out the side of our body. But anyway, you know how it is here on Operation Status Quo, where we flow with the quo and see what's going on. So what's on the mind today? Well, the title of today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, is, of course, Did Someone Say Conspiracy? Because I find it so humorous the way things have gone now. And I love watching the news. And the news comes on, and they'll say, so-and-so said such and such, touting a conspiracy theory about this, or this conspiracy theory's been debunked, and blah, 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 blah. And it's not even about, it's just, what's really interesting to me about the whole thing of this conspiracy theory thing is just that, everyone it's such a negative connotation, right? And if somebody hears it's a conspiracy, like as soon as something happens that you don't want to believe an alternate possibility, it's a conspiracy, some crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy person and everything else. I mean, of course, the pandemic, is just a prime example to not go into. I mean, there's so many things you could talk about, right? But I mean, just, the most pertinent thing over these past few years, the pandemic, people who, whatever they believe, whether they believe, where the virus came from, or, how dangerous it really was or is, of course, the jabs and such too, and how safe or possibly not they are, and back and forth and do, and it's just like, because we're so like, I'm like, this is how the brain works. I never have anything that's necessarily, sometimes I do, but just kind of we let it flow, because we flow with the quo. That's what we do here. And when that came out, I'll never forget like how it became, everybody was scared to death, right? Because they put it on TV and told you something, whatever, and then everybody just decides, well, TV's not going to lie, so obviously this must be going on. And then they, all the restrictions they put on people, and then of course they, put on the, the forced mandated stuff, as far as masking and vaxxing. And then like, people who were kind of asking questions or weren't really comfortable with it, then all of a sudden they became like real jerks, right? Because then you had all the people that come out, oh, trust the science. I don't know what you people are listening to, but I listen to science. And I always get a kick out of all that, because like, if I'm by far not even remotely scientist, okay? But I mean, common sense does prevail, I believe. And, and I've studied a lot of things as far as nutrition and everything goes through some years. And even, before the pandemic, I was living this certain type of way. And I just really get a kick out of when they come out and say the science is science. But I mean, like, the truth is, if you're really following the science, then, you would have other ideas of how the body actually operates. I can't believe that we have like doctors and stuff, that they don't even, like, if you go into a hospital, they don't like say, well, we're going to get you on a complete, organic vegetable juice program. We're going to cleanse out your blood, this, that, and the other. It's just, no, here's the pill, or here's the IV of whatever we hook you up to. And, we just got to cut this organ out. Like, I have people, friends of mine, my age, younger, get their gallbladder and stuff taken out. Like, no big deal. It's like, oh, I had a little indigestion. And so, I would have cut out my gallbladder this week, It's like, I mean, don't you understand your body's designed? I'm not saying things can't happen. I mean, listen, everything is up for whatever. And that's part of what I was going to talk about today with, this being, what did someone say conspiracy? Because, truthfully, like, what's the conspiracy? You know what the real conspiracy is? The conspiracy is the idea that we believe this false matrix we're living in is real. I mean, that's the real conspiracy, I guess, are all the people out there who don't open their minds to other ways of thought, and not even, just, it's amazing to me how angry, people get when their position is challenged. I can't, tell you how many times I've had to change my position on things I held strongly onto of beliefs. And, and the truth is, if I would have held on to some of those same beliefs, I'd be in a lot worse shape than I am right now. So, we got to let it go. You got to let it go. And we have to all start from it's almost like when anything happens in life, you got to just like come from a space of like, okay, I'm being told this, I'm being taught that, this is what's going on. This is the narrative, so to speak. And so now let me evaluate this. Let me critically think about what I'm being told. Does this make sense, the way things are going? And this is not, I have my own views. I'd be happy to talk about everything I really, believe in and all. I try to keep it kind of in the middle a little bit here when I come on and speak, because my purpose for coming on and speaking is not about saying what I think is right, or even that just because what I think is right is right. I mean, I really don't know. I definitely go down some of the more rabbit holes, of things, deeper possible truths of what our existence is, between the elite and the adrenochrome and the human trafficking and, all those things. But I mean, is one day, like, the news going to come on and they're going to be like, all the, Hollywood's been farming children and, taking their blood for, 100 years. I mean, is that going to be some big story, breaking news one day? Like, I don't think it would come out like that, because I think it would be too much for the general population, to handle. But the funny thing from watching and the things I believe and been watching over these years is that, things are changing and coming to light. They say things in very subtle ways, but they're still saying things that are like directly related to like stuff I've been following for 3 years. And, some of these concepts and ideas were never even talked about. I mean, just now, like mainstream news is just like starting to catch up to the crap, people like myself and many, 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 many others were talking about 3 years ago. So, I just find it pretty interesting. But yeah, going back, I think I left off on my point talking about trusting the science and all that. And I just, wanted to get into just like I say, the body and how it operates and that, we're one with nature. You got to start from a point of maybe this is a conspiracy. This is I think when I talk like this, I wouldn't be called a conspiracy theorist. I'd be told I'm just crazy. Oh, he's crazy. He's out of his mind, type stuff. That's what I always get. But, the truth is there is no separation of anything from the wall in front of you, from the chair you're sitting on, to your spouse, to, I don't know if you have a hamster, to the insect flying outside, to the leaf on the tree in your backyard, to the rock that you kick down the street when you're out for a walk. It's all the same energy. It's all just one energy expressing itself in billions and trillions of ways simultaneously, all working in conjunction to create a higher level of source energy. I can't really speak for the higher level of source energy. I mean, at this particular moment, I'm encased in the human entrapment of this character named Pete Palma, and I can only go as far as what's in the parameters of the program that I'm currently running, right? But aside from that, like I can step away from that and realize that we're all one and connected, and that's really what gets me. That's I guess that's really what we have to get to. Well, let's make this the message for today. So, Toby, 12 minutes. I think I got a point. I got a point to say. A point for you. Let's make it true. Oh, I'm sorry, they're doing a little work outside. Yo, guys. Yo. Can you keep that down for a few minutes? I'm on YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, these guys, listen, they got to work. These guys got to work. If we can start from a place of realizing that we're all one energy, right? And we just start from saying, okay, instead of being reactive and judgmental to situations, you have to take that step back and go, and then be okay. I realize I've just been triggered in some capacity. So let me look at why this is making me feel uncomfortable. Whatever, it doesn't have to be some deep conspiracy thing. It could be just your normal everyday life. Somebody cutting you off in traffic or whatever. What is it that's triggering me? And then when you can take that space to realize that you've been triggered, right? Now think about that space that gives you, because now you just are taking a moment to realize, instead of just being a reactive, you push a button and the rocket goes off or something, and there's no reaction, right? It's just boom, a stimulus, and then a space to observe the stimulus, and then to say to yourself, okay, so this is making me react. Now, when you have that space and you can take the time to ascertain why it's pushing you in what direction. Then that gives you the right there is the space. I mean, that's the space I'm talking about. Because if you have that ability to take the step back and give yourself the space to think about what am I really seeing, or why am I really reacting the way I'm reacting, then that's it. That's the space. That's the space where we all need to be, because that stops the immediate I'm mad at you or you did me wrong, and it gives us the opportunity to remember that we're connected and everything that's happening in our life is for a reason, to help us grow, to help us learn, to help those around us grow and learn as well. So, I mean, things that are going on, if somebody does something wrong to you, you have to look at it as, okay, well, this is coming from a higher source, of soul energy, or whatever you want to call it, source energy, that is putting this situation in my life, that is trying to get my attention to help me see something in a different way, or, grow in a different way. So as I will say, so did somebody say conspiracy? Please, people, stop saying everything's a conspiracy and getting agitated about it. We don't need to do that. We just need to take space and see what resonates. Heyo. Because we know that the people that are in charge, people who, the people who have all the real power, I mean, come on. It's just, it's like when you have a kid and you want to, like, let's say, for lack of a better term, trick them, to go to sleep or eat their dinner, and you'll do some sort of manipulation that gets them excited and thinks that they're doing something good, when really you're getting them to do what you want them to do. And like that's like basically what the powers that be do with the entire human civilization. And again, I've said this before, you're born into the world, and I mean, you start clean, but it's it. You're programmed from day one. You're bombarded by media and everything else, and that's it. Your brain eventually gets taken over. It's funny because for myself personally in life, I always, I can't say that I whatchamacallit, I did, like, I am still in certain ways, we all are, but I just mean, I was always against the system, and always knew things were not the way they were. And it's like, it's so obvious and blah, 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 blah. But like, I mean, you're still in this, and you wind up just saying to yourself, oh, well, I mean, what are you going to do? That's the way the world is. I mean, that's why people think, think you're crazy when you do stuff outside the box. They're afraid of you because, they're living their everyday, getting up at the crack of dawn or running crazy, doing whatever they feel they need to do to be a good member of society. And the truth is, our society is created to kill you. It's plain and simple. So, the real conspiracy again is the fact that everybody thinks everything's a conspiracy. That's the conspiracy, because the truth is, it's not about what's a conspiracy. There is no conspiracy in that regard, the way they say. The conspiracy is the world is designed to keep you a fool and to keep you detached from your true essence, to keep you detached from your source. And that is really what the conspiracy is. So, I also have here, because in relation to this, talking about that we live in a matrix, and I'm going to go here to my phone because I tried to pull this up on the computer, and it was easier to get on my phone. So they have a list of some things that would prove to say, or at least shed light on to say, that we're living in a simulation, or the matrix, as they say. I don't know how far I go down the road of it's hardcore. It's a matrix simulation. I mean, it is essentially a simulation because it doesn't really exist. It's a projection of energies that create a three-dimensional form, again, as a playground, a way to have tangible means of interacting. It sends higher. It's for learning. It's more conducive because you actually feel deeply, and it takes time. Like things if you go through a breakup or something, it takes time, right? Or you have a loss in your life, a parent dies or something. It takes time to heal, and So I mean, in the ethereal world, whatever, spirit world. Things that, it's not like that, because you're perceiving everything at once. You're seeing not only your view, but other people's views, and you can feel things, and, but, when you're here and you're in it, like, it's and to me, I feel like what's happening really is like, we're all little sensors, we're just little sensors that are touching and feeling and acting and being, and it's sending the information back up to source and helping everything expand. So, but some of the ideas and you can ponder these types of things to see for yourself if you believe that it's a simulation. And the reason I don't go down this road 100% is only because I feel again, everything is one moment, so everything exists simultaneously, which means all possibilities and facets exist at once. So your life, if you would have decided to go to this college instead of that college, or not go to college at all, or marry this person instead of that person, all that type of stuff, all those possibilities are living out at once. And you're, always crossing through timelines and such, based on each decision you make in every moment, because it's limitless. And, and that's what, I feel some of the elements that are on this list are discussing more so. But to me, it's not so much as like, oh, this is just a matrix, and when something goes wrong, it's a glitch. Like, I don't look at it as a glitch. I look at it more as like everything's happening simultaneously. And and this particular time period, especially since 2012, the timelines have been merging, crossing, because humanity's heading towards another level of consciousness. It's like the next step up for our species and such. So, but that's already happened, and it hasn't happened. Like, even if you live, like, if you're someone who believes in reincarnation or past lives, whatever, it's not like you lived this one life in 1800, and then you lived another life, and, now you're in this life or something. It's like all those lives are existing simultaneously, So, like, as you're living who you are right now, the life that you may have lived 200 years ago is going on simultaneously right now. And the energy that is your soul that is in both of those lives, the information's corresponding and going and creating influences on all the lives. You may say you lived 100 lives. They're all going on right now. And everything that you're doing and decisions here and decisions there, everything's kind of, fluctuating and creating. And, it's really a beautiful, almost like mind-boggling experience, if you think about it. I think that's why everybody wants to just trust the science. Just trust the science. Just trust whatever the TV says, please, because it's too scary. It's too scary for me. I don't want to do it. Hold on, they're cutting the grass outside. They were just doing the work. Guys, hey guys, can you wait on the lawn? I'm almost done. I'll be like 10 minutes at the most. Yeah, just shut that thing off. Thank you. I got to give them credit. They're always working really hard out here on keeping the land maintained. So I do appreciate that. All right. So some things for you to think about as far as why we may be in the matrix, if you're open to looking at it that way. But some of the evidence things that we see, like the Mandela effect, is a good example. And of course, one of the things like that is like movie lines and stuff. Here's one of the things that talked about even with the Mandela effect. They said like Target used to have an extra circle around the sign. It's the Target sign, and there's the red circle, and then there was like another red circle. But then you go back and look at pictures and that there's not that red circle anymore. So like an example, something like that, or like in the movie Star Wars when it was like Luke, I am your father. And then but he never said Luke. He said, I am your father. And then, they go back and forth of, well, I remember hearing certain things. I remember seeing it that way. And now that if you watch it this way, it's not like that. So these are types of things like, the Mandela effect where, something because a timeline kind of jumped or something. They talk about missing aliens. We spent billions sending probes through outer space and should probably have found evidence of extraterrestrials by now, right? Not so fast. Aliens would likely be far more technologically advanced than we are. The thinking goes, so the fact that we haven't located them suggests we live in a simulation they've figured out how to escape from. See, now that's the part where, like, I don't go down. They're getting out of our civilization. Again, everything's one thing. To me, like even the aliens really are, it's just another expression of oneness, and it's like, if you want to think about like Earth being populated, of course you go back to the Book of Enoch and all these different types of things, the Earth was had humanoid types on it, but was actually then crossbred with alien species, and all this type of thing. So I mean, it's a lot going on, is what I'm trying to say. It's not like we're here, we came from an amoeba, and then there's these aliens out there, and are they watching this, or are they going to come blow us up? It's all like really one continuous thing, and we, like, to me, we're the future, right? Like we're living now. So we're going to have generation. So picture like how many generations ahead right now there are, and God knows what humans have developed into by then, or what contacts we've had by then. What is it for the technology? I think the technology we have now, what is it for the technology then, to come back here and be, in this time, I mean, we're like the creations from the future. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, all right. So another thing that you could think about for possibly living in a simulation is that electrons can't make up their mind. And of course, this is talking about the famous double slit experiment. When you observe a proton or whatever it was, there'd be waves. The pattern would be waves when you put it through. But if it was observed, if the individual proton was observed, then it became like a singular point. See, and that's exactly what I was saying earlier when I'm saying about like what we are. We're in these bodies. We think we're these physical, whatever we think we are. But the truth is, we're just an energetic flow. But because we are in this body, boom, we become the observation point. And that's why everything is like boom, 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 because we're just the observation point. We're not the full wave as we're in this body, because we're in the wave and you're in the wave, and that's like me in the ocean when all the waves are together. But boom, then you become an individual. You're Joe, you're Fred, you're Mary, whoever you are. Hey, Joe, Fred, Mary, how you guys doing out there? I haven't seen you guys in so long. All right, stop that. But anyway, so... yeah, and you become the observation point. So, I mean, again, what we think we see, and that's another thing, too, to go back on, like, with the whole, like, what conspiracy, because everybody's so locked in and thinking they know everything and just trusting what has been passed down. But, the truth is, like, our senses are so limited. Think about the levels of light we can't see, the depths and high pitches of sounds that we can't hear. I mean, we're pretty limited. We have to stay within a kind of like a certain temperature, or if our body temperature goes just a few degrees one way or the other, we're screwed, right? So, I mean, we're in a pretty locked in little space here. So, we can't just rely on our five senses. We have to really rely on our intuition and what we're being told in our heart. And that goes back to, some meditation, taking space, being with breath, not being reactive, all that type of stuff. All right. And here's another one, video games that look like real life, right? You see how I remember when I was coming up, I had the Atari 2600, loved my Missile Command and all that kind of thing. It was real easy games, just a little, one little stick and one little button, and after they got to, I was pretty good with the Nintendo. I think Sega for a little while, but after they went past, I was good with the little, direction and the A and B button. Then they added the C button. That was a little bit for me, but once they changed it over and put those buttons, then they got the buttons like they're all over the place, right? Wherever you got the buttons, like buttons here, buttons there. You got a controller on your head. You pull your ear a few times and the guy moves. Excuse me, but. Anyway, the point I'm making is, you see how real the video games look, and and what they're doing now with the artificial intelligence for, these different reality things that they do, and that's just the start of it, right? And again, like I was just saying, go jump 100 years and see where technology is. That's why I always loved on Star Trek Next Generation when they had the holodeck, and those guys can go in there, and it would seem like it's a simulated reality. They can go to their hometown on Earth and run the program, and it feels like they're really there. So that's what. That's what I would like to. That's what I'm waiting for. Because then I can create my own little perfect environment and go on the holodeck and just hang out there. And nobody, just please, I hope they don't pull the plug. Don't pull the plug on the holodeck. Let's at least get that. Let's see. Anything else we have here that's pretty good? They say it's not actually possible to prove we're not living in a simulation. So that's one of the reasons why we may be living in a simulation. You understand that? It's like a round and round we go. We can't really prove that it's not. We can't really prove that it is. So but again, it is and it isn't. It is, and it isn't when we're the observer, because it seems like it's real. Okay. How about this one? A couple more of these, because I it's not really that interesting, but I'm just trying to give some things that they put out there to talk about the possibility of why we live in a matrix. Now, the Goldilocks zone, this isn't one that I had heard of before, but Earth exists within what astrologists call the Goldilocks zone, close enough to a star that greenhouse gases can trap heat to keep liquid water, but far away enough from the planet so we don't become like a hothouse. That we live in such an orbital sweet spot is circumstantial evidence for a simulation. If our sim designers wanted us to succeed, it makes sense that they'd place us in such a cushy environment. But, again, we are the creators, and, it's, it is what it is. So, but we are in the Goldilocks zone, and that's, again, if we want to go down the whole idea that we're in this little nook of space. But this is why, when I talk about the flat Earth stuff, it's not about whether I think, like, the Earth is really just like I don't think it's just like a flat thing floating in space. It goes beyond even space, because it's not really that there's space out there. It's dimensions, it's layers of multi-dimensional existence. See, so I mean, maybe from some certain perspectives, the Earth could be observed more as a globe, and instead of flat. But I again, this even goes into with the aliens and stuff. It's all levels of multi-dimensional existence, which is it could be a whole nother topic. But today's topic is: did someone say conspiracy? Well, because we can't believe anything, we gotta believe. Hello, McFly. Let's see here. Is anything else good on this list? No, that's it. There's nothing else on here. There was just those couple things I just wanted to share about that, about saying possibly living in the Matrix. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. And that's all I really got for you today. I come on. I want to be here with the people. You're the people. I love you, the people. Please, if you haven't already, just do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and share. I really should say that in the beginning, because I wonder how many people, if you've made it this far into the video, can you drop a comment and just say, I made it this far? I'd like to know who sticks with me to the end. That'd be great. But like, subscribe, and share. Send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and those you despise. Let's create a community. Again, I've been reaching out to people. I'm really trying to build, and if I can, coax a few people, encourage a few people, or whatever the term may be, to get some people to come on here and share. I know a lot of people that know a lot of great information. Unfortunately, just a lot of people don't like to talk and go on publicly and stuff. But what can I do about it? And the crazy thing is, I do. I'm the big mouth that don't know nothing, and I talk all day long. I'm trying to get people that know stuff on here. Give me a call if you know something. Hey-o. Seriously, share it out, and let's spread the word, because again, this is a community. We're going to build it. It's going to grow, because things are changing in the world. So it might not happen today, but when the shit really shakes out, I think people are going to be looking for spaces where they can share their thoughts openly, honestly, and not feel that they're being judged or chastised or whatever the case may be. And that's one thing that will never happen here on Operation Status Quo, because on Operation Status Quo, we merely observe the status quo, and then we learn to flow with the quo, and we let the quo do what it's got to do, and then who knows what new quo comes out of that. And that's really the beautiful part of everything that we're doing here on Operation Status Quo. And I'm the last person. I don't care what my beliefs are. I'll just say this as a closing thing, because I can always go on tangents and talk about something that I really think, and blah 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 blah. But I'm not right, I'm not wrong. I don't think I'm better or worse. We're all the same. We're all equal. We all have struggles in life. We all have our thoughts, our opinions, our upbringing, our situations, our whatever. And the whole point of everything, and the whole reason I'm here, is because we need to build a space of compassion for one another. And instead of judging and thinking I'm better, at least I'm better than that person, or something like that, or look how bad they are, I didn't do that, or all that kind of thing. We need to help each other grow. I'm not saying you have to if people are mistreating you or bad behavior, I mean, you got to set your boundaries. But at the same time, it doesn't mean it's a personal attack on you. You don't have to look at it as that you have to prove anything. You just flow with the energies that are in your quo, and it's as simple as that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I'm Pete Palma. This is Operation Status Quo. You've been here flowing with the quo. Again, subscribe, like, and share. Do me a favor, send it out, and I'll be back before you know it, probably tomorrow, but if not, the next day. But no, seriously, I'm going to try to do, about 5 days a week here. So, get ready for it. I hope you can stomach it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I'm Pete Palma. Thanks for being here. Operation Status Quo. Oh, hold on. I got to go back to this. I'm going to do my big ending, and then I'm going to miss my sound effect that I need. All right. Did I have... Thanks for being here. Operation Status Quo. Disengaged.